After racing Volvos for 5 years and driving one on the street, I have never been to the home of Volvo. So I get to go over to Gothenburg, Sweden, and see where they're made, where they're born. The flight to the home of Volvo, Gothenburg, Sweden, started with a 9-hour trip to Charles de Gaulle in France, and then another 2.5 hours right into Gothenburg. This is the city of Volvo. Gothenburg is very European. It was not crowded, no big traffic jams. I loved it. It was a warm place in terms of its architecture and the feel of the city, but it was kind of cool and damp and humid right on the Swedish seacoast. It was not like being in Detroit, only in the way that in Detroit you got the big three, right? But in Gothenburg, you got the big one. We arrived at the Volvo factory and were greeted by Magnus, Stura, and Charlotte.
We will enter a plant. There is full action. There are forklifts and everything, so please be with me.
During our tour of the plant, it was clear that Volvo had a real emphasis on safety, even for visitors. Specific places to walk, smocks and special safety shoes we had to wear. Every production machine was fenced off. It was clear that they wanted to keep people away from the machinery and stay safe. How long does it take for one car to go from start to finish here?
10 to 11 hours from one car to enter the line to we started the first time.
Something I found very unique about the Volvo plant is that they build all their Volvo models on one assembly line.
There's a V60, there's a V70, there's a V60.
This is really unique. Most times it's just one kind of car on one assembly line. I asked them why they do the different models on one line, and I was told it was because it's more efficient. I can read this. It was funny to see on every production car coming down the line a sign in English that said, "Don't lean here." Can't trust the American tourists.
No, that's only for you.
You do have to deal with human realities still, because
Yeah.
you're using people.
Yep.
Hey, can I borrow this? This plant was so large that there were also bicycles, and it looked like a lot of fun, so I hopped on one and took it for a ride.
Good to be in the car plant.
Can we wheelie this thing?
You
Sorry,
can't wheelie.
no,
You can't wheelie.
No wheelies.
No wheelie.
No wheelies. Safety shoes.
Yeah. We have divided the plant into 3 different areas. We have the pre-trim, we have the marriage and the engines, and then we have the trim area.
Gating, we got marriage, and then we've got the kids.
Yeah. We will see the marriage bond and the divorce also. So we have it inside. That's no
That's
problem.
the recycle.
This is the IP on the dashboard.
That's a big piece.
Yeah.
I was in fact pleasantly surprised to see that there was a fairly high number of women working on the production line. They're probably just doing a little bit better job than the guys, don't you think?
I don't know what to say on that one. I think everybody's good here.
Other plants I've been in the United States anyway, it's men. It's all guys. Engine heaven. I gotta say, something that really impresses me is how quiet it is in here.
Yeah.
You'd think with all this assembly going on, it'd be banging and crashing.
Yeah. It can't be a plant that is high on sound, and that is not good for the environment and for the people.
More Volvo safety right here, folks. At the marriage point, the lower part of the car is combined with the upper part of the car. Does this body take this chassis to live together in happy matrimony now and forever?
Yeah.
Till recycle do us part. Look, it fit.
Yeah, it does. Every time.
Every time. It was cool watching the windows go in. The little glue guns would put just the right amount of adhesive, and then the machine would lower those in place.
This is where we leave, and first time we will start the car.
So wait a minute, so here,
We start the car.
a gentleman just gets in and turns the key?
Yeah.
Nothing special?
Nothing special.
Just like if it was you
Just
and me in our driveway at home?
Yeah, of course.
No kidding?
Yeah.
Does he cross his fingers?
No.
Like,
Start every time. Start every time.
please?
No.
Vroom. After the Volvo car production facility, we made a trip a little bit up north to see the engines being built. The new engine line at the Volvo plant is fully automated, the latest technology, everything the best it can be for today's engines. This ultra-modern facility produces 2,000 engines a day. And is this the new 4-cylinder engine?
Yes.
I see it's an aluminum block.
Yes.
That's a lot of rod for all that boost. What we're seeing here is a very sophisticated technique where they don't cut the connecting rod, they're not machining it. They actually just score the edge of it and then pop it and break it. The surface is rough, but when they come together, all those little hills and valleys mesh and it holds it perfectly. Very sophisticated. Volvo was one of the first to start doing that. Heads up. Anything with wheels, you know. It's a skateboard. Then Gunnar took us over to the former engine line, or the older one, where the engine in my K-Pax Volvo was originally built. Looks familiar.
Yep. Maybe you want some extra?
Oh, definitely.
This is a pre-assembled piston with, we have one.
Oh, look, it has that anti-friction compound.
Yes,
This
I
is a
don't know.
great racer's trick from a
Yeah.
few years ago. Now they're doing it in the engine. These little things look like Star Wars R2-D2s driving around with
Oi.
engines. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Gunnar. When it was time to leave the plant, we hopped in a new XC60 with the Drive-E engine. I couldn't wait to try that out.
One of the shortcomings typically of a turbocharged engine is called turbo lag. So a supercharger basically kicks in immediately. It's belt driven off of the drive shaft of the engine. And then as the revs build, the larger turbo spools up. Basically the supercharger is disengaged and then the air is routed strictly to the turbo, and that's your higher RPM power.
It's got a very high performance engine. I think that's pretty cool. Next day, we headed over to Polestar for the high performance Volvos. Polestar is Volvo's high performance partner. They build race cars, they race, winning in the Swedish Touring Car Championship, among others, and they build their own high performance Volvo models. At Polestar, we met Johan, their PR rep. He gave us a little background on the company and took us into the garage to show us their race cars and even the new street models not yet released. The garage was the coolest part for me. We saw the Swedish touring car, which is basically a Volvo S60 body draped over a mid-engine, full-on Formula racing car. He also showed us the new S60 Polestar. Big brakes.
Big brakes, yeah, Brembo brakes.
Standard seat?
No, it's our own, better side support.
Oh, no kidding.
It's based on the new R-design seats. Roll bar and so on, stiffer as well. And you got the shock absorber system, which is completely new. It's made in cooperation with Alliance. It's a new Borg Warner turbo.
And what do you have, a Pilot Super Sport?
Correct.
Adjustable exhaust?
You will experience that.
Very cool, very cool. Next, we talked with Hans Both, who heads Polestar. Because I had the ear of a guy that was so important, I felt I needed to point out some things about the aerodynamics of the race car. Well, I would recommend a little adjustment on the wing.
All right.
I think this is probably less than ideal.
We seem to lose a bit on the straight line speed, so yeah.
This is for transportation,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then Hans tried to teach me some Swedish.
Sälj inte björnen från skinnet är skjutet. Normally that's what we say, yeah. Can you repeat that? Good, good. Back in 2005 we started to talk to Volvo about offering some kind of consumer products. And we figured out that we don't want to make more parts, we want to make a very good Volvo. So we started with the race car actually, and what can we utilize from that and from our concept cars, and to put that in a production car. And the result is the S60.
Next, Hans let me drive their S60 Polestar. This was the high point of the week for me. This engine has so much torque, I think it accelerates as hard at 3,000 as it does at 5,000.
The new Borg Warner turbo is a twin scroll single turbo.
Oh.
So that's a big part of the quick response that you get and the immediate torque.
That's a big deal, changing the turbo.
It is.
I was impressed, for one, with how well the car handled. It was firm and quick and responsive. Tremendous power, especially that mid-range torque the S60 has, just more of it. I really liked the exhaust system. And the braking was phenomenal. Next, we headed for the Gothenburg City Arena. It's a racetrack, pretty much right downtown, built on a pier they call the Banana Pier. There we talked with Derek Crabb, and he shared some of his thoughts about Volvo and Polestar.
Polestar started as a small racing team, and we realised what incredible competence we build up around racing cars that sort of matched quite nicely with Volvo's understanding of road cars. So we said, why not put Polestar's competence together with some of the Volvo competence and see how much we can extend. But there's some customers that want more performance, more extreme. So we decided,
People like us. When we arrived at the track, they had a special surprise. The V60 prototype of the Polestar Volvos.
As you can see, it's the wagon. So that's the one big step up for 2014.
I love wagons.
Yeah, good.
I want to know who made these skid marks over here, because this reminds me a lot of driving in America. This is pretty cool. This reminds me of North Georgia. Let me tell you, probably somebody had a Camaro big block out here, or I don't know, maybe a Volvo with the turbo cranked up. This is going to be a fun place, I can tell by the tire tracks. First, we went out and drove the Volvo S60 Polestar on the track.
All right, Randy, so now you've driven the car on the road. Let's test it on the track.
Radius decreases. It's a little hairy when you drive a racetrack that's totally green like that, though. You know, nobody's been on it. I've never seen it. The surface is dirty and dusty, and it really was an advantage to have the all-wheel drive, more than usual on a racetrack. Tell you what, minimal roll, really good control in the dampers. Next, I hopped in the V60 Polestar prototype. This car's not even for sale yet, and took it around, and it handled every bit as well as the S60 did. This is a pretty cool place to be. I mean, it is really a terrific, terrific setup. It was such a great opportunity to be able to drive on track with the new and not even available yet Polestar cars. And so we headed back to get ready for another day in Sweden. The next day, we got up early and we went for a pretty long ride out into the countryside to Volvo's top secret proving grounds, Halla Red. This place was locked up tight. Okay, we're in the ID zone. Secret pass. This is Volvo's test and development secret out of the public eye, and they've got every kind of test course you can imagine, including road surfaces copied directly from real roads all around the world. Wow, this is some seriously rough road. There's probably mad scientists in those buildings over there working on the new Volvos. Roll excitation. Anything excitationing sounds good to me. Some seriously rough road. I had a crazy experience while at the proving grounds. A young woman put me in the car with her. We drove past an empty parking spot, hit a button, and the car backed itself in. This is definitely spooky. Parking finished?
Yeah.
I want to do it again.
Yeah.
Can we do it again?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Before we left, I had to go to the gift shop right there at the factory to get some souvenirs for back home. Well, this whole experience of going to where the cars were built and meeting the people who build them has made me even more proud to be one part of the Volvo family. I'd love to go back to Sweden, for sure.